It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and it's Walkabout Wednesday in my Chula Vista garden. And can I just say that I am one part shocked and two parts delighted that so many of you are as immature as I am. We are offering this limited edition Every Garden Needs a Phallus t-shirt, and we just posted a few days ago, and you guys just annihilated the numbers. So I am going to go ahead and offer the shirt for a little while longer. We'll do 50 more shirts, but then I mean it. That's it. So get your shirt. When it comes, go out in your garden, have somebody take a picture of you in your shirt with your favorite phallus. Send me the photo on Instagram at Laura Loves Succulents so that I can repost you and we can share in all of these fun and games. Okay, you know we're in Del Mar right now, and we needed an extra demo day for obvious reasons, for those of you that are following along closely. So there wasn't a whole lot to share with you. We were just continuing where we left off yesterday with digging out those bird of paradise roots mostly, and cutting all of the sod and just, doing really meticulous detail work to prepare for tomorrow, which will be the beginning of the garden taking shape. Greg's been bringing over yards and yards and yards of amended topsoil, and tomorrow we're gonna start mounding and doing boulder placement. So I thought this would be a really fun day to do a walkabout. It is, what is it, September, mid-September now in my Chula Vista garden, and our Euphorbia corner over here. We've talked about euphorbias and how much they love this time of year. This is a really magic place in the garden that gets some shade and a little cooler temps than other places in my garden. And the plants are absolutely thriving. Now is the time, if you live in, on the West Coast or in really the Northern Hemisphere and you're experiencing summer right now, you can do things like grooming, deadhead your plants, check for mealybugs and aphids, use whatever treatment to control the pests that you prefer, be it organic or chemical, your call. But don't do a whole lot of manipulation with your plants right now. My gutters are looking, really good. These Morganianum, these were, put in here as cuttings, and they really struggled, and you can see the desiccation in the little leaves where the plant is trying to reestablish a root system and is using all of the nourishment that it had saved in its leaves to support new root growth. And when I pull that out, I don't really, yeah, there's a little hair root there. Here's a brand new little plantlet right there. And I'm seeing growth here at the end that's brand new. So I have every confidence that these are going to fluff back up really, really soon and be absolutely gorgeous moving into the fall. This my new little Euphorbia, look at that firecracker of a bloom. Isn't that so spectacular? Like I said, just loving this hot weather. It's thrown off some beautiful new leaves and blooming. The Trigona rubra is absolutely stunning. My Pilosoceras azuris continues to delight and amaze.
Big phallus.
Yes, it is. This is
Quite the phallus.
Greg says this is quite the phallus, and he's not wrong. This is absolutely one of my favorites in my garden for sure. And all of my little collectibles are doing great. This poor little cactus was still looking a little anemic, and I haven't dropped the hammer yet, you guys, on getting fertilizer, but I mean it. I will. I'm going to. This little falcata, Crassula falcata, threw off some beautiful blooms. This is a little arrangement that I redid recently, throwing in this little these little aloes, some more Morganianum, and this little falcata. If you've got, I gave you all the job of redoing some of your arrangements. If you've got things that are looking really, really rough, you can absolutely work with rooted plants at this time of the year, particularly if you can give them a little protection from the sun. See this here? Here's an example of sunburn. That leaf got torched. Shame on me. But, you know, that is the price of doing business this time of year. I recently, before we went up to the ranch this last time, remember we reworked this Bougainvillea pot together, and I was really pushing the envelope because it was already starting to get hot. But look at how great everything looks. The aeoniums, the Fred Ives, the echeverias, the little ghosties, everything is thriving in this pot. And I do water it, I don't want to say heavily, but I water it more than I would normally to support the little Bougainvillea here. Okay, moving on. The Brugmansia is really struggling, does not like the heat. This is, you know, love-hate relationship that I have with this plant. It is so messy, and sometimes it looks so bad. And then, you know, the little cutworms get on it, and but I'm going to hang in there with it. It is providing some really nice shade for a lot of my succulents here. Another plant that we're going to have to really seriously think about is this Aloe Goliath. It is so gorgeous, but it is getting so big, and it's not going to get smaller, and it's, I don't know how much longer I can leave it there. So that will be a very big deal when it becomes time to excavate that plant, and I will be sure and take you on the journey when I do. Okay, oh yeah, look at this Cameronii. I planted this cutting here recently. Look at how red it is. This is the gold standard for this plant. Fabulous, fabulous color. See the roots that are forming there? I don't know, this is just the most bulletproof plant that I think I've ever worked with. I bought a bunch of these to work in, to the design in Del Mar. And I told you in the video, you know, that I will be cutting them and planting them all as cuttings, not as rooted plants. This is one I personally have never lost a Cameronii, no matter when I've worked with it as a cutting. So I can't stress enough, you know, adding this to your collection if at all possible. I got the ones for Del Mar at Waterwide's Botanicals. This Echeveria Harmsii, you can see that it bloomed and the blooms are now dead. So, you know, you can cut, do a little housekeeping. You can cut pretty much anywhere on the stem, because wherever you cut, the new growth will come just beneath your cut. So I will get some bushiness out of this here really, really soon, because, you know, these flowers, they're done and they just really need to go. So I'll come out later and, you know, finish cleaning that up. So you can see I've got some over here too, but these are just getting ready to throw off flowers, so I'm not prepared to cut those yet. And a little appreciation for my Agave Victoria Regione Compacta that I don't talk about enough. It is so spectacular. This Aeonium Kiwi right here is looking really leggy, and I will go after that after the heat of summer passes. This Kalanchoe Orgialis copper spoons, I have a few of these. I have a few of these in my garden, and none of them look as good as this one does right here. So this is clearly a really, really happy spot for it. I've got a little Cydendenium grantii that I planted here as a cutting too, and I really like that together. I think they're great companion plants. Really, really pretty. And then I've got an underplanting of my Crassula Argentea Sunset, which, you know, this one is not really coloring up right now. It's pretty green. When it gets cold, it'll turn yellow again. I love that about that plant. All right, what else, what else, what else? Everything along the prison wall here is thriving. I did spray the Bougainvillea for loopers Loopers are the little green worms that attack the leaves. Look what they do. Isn't that gross? And every summer this happens. And I do spray it with, what do I spray it with? I spray it with Home Defense, an ortho product. It is a chemical. But gosh darn it, I will nuke them. Some of you have also said that you'd like to see over the wall. No, you wouldn't. It's not cute, trust me. It's pretty gross. It's just a bunch of dead crap over there. Okay, moving on. Here's another plant that's going to need dealt with at some point. My little Mediopictoalba. This was one of the pups from one of the mom plants that I worked into a project. It is such a beautiful little specimen, but it is definitely going to outgrow its spot there pretty soon. All right. The Succulent Fountain has never looked better at this time of the year. You know, this year I did plant some things in it that were tougher. I got rid of some of the mamby-pamby plants because I was sick and tired of having a beach umbrella out here the entire summer, so I just decided to go with tougher plants, and I'm really glad that I did. Oh, I have such exciting news too. Remember that Alluodia that I took from a client? They hated it and it wasn't getting enough water and it was looking like crap. So I brought it home. I had to cut a bunch of the roots off to get it into a pot. And it was looking as close to death as a plant can look without actually being dead. So I've just, been watering it and kind of being patient with it. Recently, I cut, watch out for this, Greg. I cut some of the dead branches off. One here, one here, one here, one here, here and here. You look at these Charlie Brown looking little leaflets up here on the top. But lo and behold, I have new growth, and it's only been like a week at the most, but I've got little buds coming on every single branch. So I am super encouraged, and I think in time this is going to be a really, really interesting specimen in my garden. So if you've got a Bougainvillea and you've got some dieback, like right, can you see this, Greg? Mm-hmm. Right here, there's nothing happening here. So I'm going to cut this branch, and sure enough, look at that tissue. That's gross. That's not, it's supposed to be like kind of a whitish tan color, not brown with holes in it. Yeah, so this branch was toast. Now I'm hoping that I will get a new branch that will start and form somewhere in this area right here, right beneath my cut. So yeah, it's budding here, here, here. It's getting all kinds of nodules on it. So it's just, I'm so fascinated to see what it's going to do. So we'll take you on the journey with that as well. Take you along for the ride. Okay. Thank you all so much for your advice in regards to the lemon tree, that, it needs iron. It has suffering from chlorosis and an iron deficiency. You also told me that I need to consider amending the pH too, which makes total sense. There's no point in putting iron on this thing if the pH isn't going to support intake of the mineral. So I haven't done it yet. But you've given me hope, because I was really, really close to just saying screw it and getting rid of this tree. This is prime real estate for a really beautiful succulent arrangement, but I've had this tree for about 15 years and I do feel a little sentimental about it, and I really feel like it's got a lot of life left in it if I can just get its mineral and vitamin needs under control. So I'm going to do that, and you can watch with me as it starts to come back to life. I'm also, as I'm standing here, I'm seeing scale. Damn it. Grr. Yeah, it's always something. I'm either getting mildew, scale, aphids. This tree it's just stressed. It's really stressed, and I need to drop the hammer on it and get some food for that. but I'm gonna. Um, Still concerned about my Echeveria imbricata because it's not throwing off any babies. So I don't know, you know, I'm hopeful. This is a, you know, a really fantastic hen and chick, and I would like to see that prolificate. So if it doesn't do something within the next couple of months, I'll move it to somewhere else and see if that doesn't work. This Succulent Tapestry raised bed that I did a couple of years ago, you know, if you look at this objectively, I think you'll agree that it's starting to lose its luster. It's not looking as intentional as when I first planted it. The Agave Variegated pup is getting too big. I really need to move this to another place. The Aeonium Sunburst, this is also sunburn here. It's just looking really, really rough, even my crest, but that's normal for this time of year. This is a summer dormant plant, so. But yeah, no, I don't know. It just looks kind of like a hot mess. So you can't really make out any of the rock work or anything anymore. This will be one of our fall projects where we'll tear into this and rework it. It'll be fun. You'll see. The gutters over here on this side are looking very, very good. Every day I come out and pick a little bit, and it's just so rewarding. It's so much fun to pull off, you know, all the dead leaves and dead, you know, just deadhead, get rid of some of the spent blooms, check for bugs. I don't see anything. These are looking really great. My booby cactus is so spectacular in my Susan Ock pot. Another fantastic Cameronii that is just as red as a fire as it can be. And yeah, I mean, everything in this garden is thriving and looking fantastic. Our little pink jasmine that I moved over here, also doing just fine. It's starting to do its job. It's starting to cover, you know, I want it to cover this trellis and hide the trash cans, and it's definitely doing that. So I'm very, very pleased with its progress. I have noticed when I walk Bentley in the early morning that it is starting to get a little cooler. So I think that fall is definitely on the way. And I've noticed that even my aeoniums that went so dormant this summer are starting to open up a little bit. So I'm really encouraged about them too. Our king palm suffered a little bit in my absence. It didn't get as much water as it probably should have. Let's see. Nah, dang it. That's what I hate. See, when this tree was smaller, I could reach that with my clippers. But see, it's not ready to give yet, so I just have to look at that ugly dead branch until that thing's ready to come off.
Or get the pole saw.
Or get the pole saw, Greg says, but that sounds too much like work. Alluodia Procera, you can let these do whatever you want them to do. Anywhere you cut on this plant, you're going to get branches beneath your cut, guaranteed. And I really like the gnarly look of this, but at some point, these are going to grow out into the walk paths, and I'm going to have to make some decisions. But right now, loving it. Same with my barrels. The barrels are looking very barrely today. Aren't they? Look at how yellow. They just look super, really good. I watered when we got back from the ranch, and they seem to have really perked up considerably. Again, my flanking beds, very, very happy with this redesign. Very glad that I did that. Got rid of the thick aeoniums that were in here and did something that would be more sustainable. Gosh, that's about it. These plants up here in the courtyard are all going to be going to Del Mar. These are project leftovers that I've just schlepped from one project to another, and always in the hopes that I can work them into the design. So these will go probably on Saturday to Del Mar, and we'll see if we can incorporate them. Gosh, okay, well that's it for me for Walkabout Wednesday. Again, if you're still with me, you guys are crazy. You're so fun. I'm just delighted with all of you, and that you're so light and you have such great senses of humor, just like me. So, for Laura Eubanks in her garden on Walkabout Wednesday, this has been your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.